Hey guys, Prithviraj, I hope you guys are doing great. I am inside the Volvo XC60 Recharge. Now this is one of the 3 Volvo cars Malaysia has to offer in their SUV segment. Now we have the XC40, which we see a lot of them on the road. We have the XC90, which also we see a lot of them on the road, but unfortunately we don't see a lot of XC60s on the road. But hopefully after this video we get to see a lot of XC60s on the road, because this is kind of the forgotten middle child in the whole lineup of SUVs Volvo has to offer currently in Malaysia. And unfortunately it's sad because the tech aspect of this particular car is insane. When I say insane, is that you have a lot of features all over the place. You have tons of buttons right in front of you. There are buttons on the side, you have buttons on your left. All of these buttons has a very distinctive and very same functions through and through, and they are very easy to use. And during my time, I had for 5 days, by the way, I got very used to it, and so much so to the point I really don't want to let this car go, because having tech is a different thing, but having smart tech in a car is very, very important to me, which is why I love this car more and more. I'm gonna start one thing at a time because I want to actually go through as much as I can. And if you really want to learn about the PHEV aspect of this particular car, perhaps stay tuned for another episode, because the tech aspect of this particular car is already overwhelming. We will do the PHEV with another Volvo later down the line, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. So let me start off with the key first. Now this is the Volvo Keyfob. Now this particular Keyfob has one interesting feature that I think it must be said out loud, because these days a lot of women drive cars all over the place because women work, women go to places, they have fun, and you have to make sure that it's a lot more easier for a woman to drive a car and be safe. But what's a really not safe spot is definitely parking lots, because honestly, personally, every single time when I want to send my friend off, be it my girlfriend or my best friend or my friends in general who are women, to a parking lot to their car, it scares me, because parking lot is a place where you don't have surveillance, and that can be a really huge issue. Which is why Volvo included this particular button called the panic mode button. Now this particular panic button is a way for you to generate attention, especially if you think the car where you parked, basically the spot where your car is at, is a little unsafe, and you want to make sure that there isn't something unsafe going on. Which is why if you were to press this button for 3 seconds, your car will do a siren alarm of sorts for about 25 seconds, and that will garner attention. In that way, you can also get attentions of other people who are in the parking lot, and perhaps the security guard as well, who may go, "What's that sound? I need to check it out," and you may have some safety accordingly. Which is a really good button that they have included, because I don't think I see this kind of panic feature button on any other car for that matter. And Volvo including it in their key, it doesn't have to start from the car, and the fact that it started all the way from the key shows that how the Scandinavian brand is so keen on making their car as safe as possible. And it's not something I can say with any other car manufacturers, but Volvo, you have pretty much all of my undivided attention from here on. And once you get inside the car, you have this beautiful finish on this leatherette finish on the top with the stitches that looks very bespoke. You have the nice panel, which isn't center, it's slightly tilted towards the driver, because when I was doing my B-roll from this way, I kind of got my OCD triggered. But anyway, once you get into the car, you have this beautiful steering, which looks really clean. You can really tell there isn't a single part of this particular car on the inside that's overdone. Shows that how minimalistic this car look. The speaker grills look very simple and bespoke. The side panel is really nice. Pretty much the overalls of the particular car is beautiful, which I really love. Now, one thing that I really don't like is this particular panel where the gear, the start engine button is located, and your brakes. All of this panel is made in a glossy finish, which I wish they could have gone for the same wooden trim which is all around the car. Let me just get into the whole tech part of it. So this particular car has something called the Intellisafe. Now every single car has a driver assistance system, but this particular driver assistance system that we see in this Volvo is one of its kind, because this is Volvo's very own technology. Now Intellisafe is what they call a helping hand when you need. Now what it does is that it has a very interesting and an intuitive UI where it allows the car and the sensor that the car has work all in all together to give a better and safer driving experience. Now let me start the car. The moment when I start the car, the first thing that I'll notice is that the Intellisafe system check goes all the way down, and it checks for the pilot assist, it looks for adaptive cruise control, and it has distance alert. Now these are the main three key features that is made for the Intellisafe. Let me start off with this one feature. I'm sure everybody know. Adaptive cruise control is a feature that allows you to maintain a speed on a highway when you are traveling interstate or so on. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to travel interstate, or Volvo did not give us the permission to travel interstate in any way, so we cannot test that out. But when we did try it out on the highway when I was driving to KL and back from KL, I was able to put that particular feature out for test, and it works pretty well. And I'm sure everybody knows about adaptive cruise control, and that's not a feature that you can't find on other cars. In fact, that feature is pretty much available on any other car. Now, the feature that isn't available in a lot of car is pilot assist. Now, pilot assist is a really cool feature. On the steering, I have this 2-line button and a 3-line button, and once I switch the arrow to pilot assist and press the button, what it does, it will drive on its own. So consider this as an autonomous driving feature. So that means once you're on a straight road or something and you just press your pilot assist, the car will take care of on its own. It will let you know there are certain time where it asks you to place your hand on the steering for a little bit of assistance, especially when you're taking a sharp corner, but nonetheless the system works really well. Now the thing is that the pilot assist does not work at night, so be careful. And in Malaysia, roads aren't particularly safe even on a daytime basis, because we have potholes all over the place. Hopefully that gets fixed later down the line by whichever area is covered by whichever party. But for what it's worth, the feature does not work at night, so which means no matter what kind of safety feature you find in this Volvo XC60 or in any car for that matter, you driving smart is very important, and you driving safe is very much so important. Okay, one of the features that I'm going to test right now is the pilot assist. Now the pilot assist is a feature that needs to be seen to be experienced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be switching lanes first and make sure that everything around me is all right. Okay, there's pretty much a good distance, a fair distance right behind me, and there's a fair distance right in front of me. I'm gonna set the distance in front of me, so I'm gonna set to 4 bars so that there's a significant gap between both the cars, which is mine and the car in front of me. Now it's in the pilot assist mode, and I'm gonna press and turn it on. So it shows a green indicator right there. I'm quite not sure if you can see it, but if you see it, voila, this is how good the system is. So it does the speed managing all by itself, and when it thinks it's just nice to pick up the speed, I can increase it through the button right here, and it will pick up right away. Now the thing is that at certain extent it would require some assistance, especially to move around, but that's not a bad thing to have, because it's good to have assistance rather than have to go through issues on the road on an auto assist or an autopilot mode like this one. So my hands are going to be on the steering just to make sure that it's all okay. Now if you're wondering what happens if I want to overtake somebody, so all I need to do is put the signal and I will have to overtake the car all by myself, because this is not a complete, or I would say a complete package of an autonomous driving system, because unfortunately we cannot implement that in Asian countries given the fact that we have very little infrastructure to go around. Perhaps in the future, but this is a very good start and a very good car to experience that first. Voila, I can take my hands off the steering and you can see it does its job really well actually. I could be reading a book and voila. Okay, now it says apply steering, so that means it requires a little bit of assistance, and I'm just gonna hold my steering and let it do its magic. There you go. So right now the traffic in front of me is clearing and I want to actually take it off the autopilot, and all I have to do is press the button back again and put my foot on the accelerator and I'm good to go. So all I could do is overtake and so on, but I'm not gonna do because I'm gonna take a turn real soon. Now this one also has other cool features like detecting the car ahead of you, so it actually brakes as it should, and it can also detect pedestrians crossing the road immediately, and that way it can also tell that, you know, when to apply brakes, and it will automatically do it for you. Because the thing is that despite the fact that you are driving a car, and if you are driving a safer car, if a pedestrian is still in the wrong, you will still be blamed for pretty much every single mistake for what they do, because at the end of the day, you're the person with a bigger vehicle. And which is why features like this make a difference, because sometimes it happens without us being aware. And in that case, it's really important for us to, you know, have these kind of features, to have a preventive measure to, you know, have whenever we drive. And a preventive measure is good to have, because in that way, not only you know that, you know, something bad has gone and the car has taken care of all of itself, but you also know that you need to make sure that this does not happen again. Make sense? Yeah. Now that's the Intellisafe system. Now next up is one of my personal favorite system in this car. That's the audio system. This car has a Bowers & Wilkins speaker sound system. The sound in this car is magnificent. If you're an audio enthusiast, you will enjoy it very much so. But even if you're not an audio enthusiast, you can definitely tell how good the bass is, how good the surround sound is, and how good the orchestra setup or whatever presets that they have work so well in a car like this. So we have speakers on all the doors, and I have a tweeter right in front of me. It emulates a really nice sound stage depending on whichever mode that you choose, and you can have really crisp, beautiful, rich audio coming out of this speaker. It's one of the very few speakers that I will give credit in a car, and this sound system is right now my favorite sound system of all time. Now, one of the albums that I'm currently listening is Haim's Woman Part 3, because that is one of the really nice albums that Haim has released so far. And every single time when I listen to that album in this particular car, it just feels like as if I'm literally listening to those trio in front of me. That's how beautiful the soundstage is, and my years are officially ruined by this speaker because I cannot go back to any other sound system in a car except this. So yeah. Okay, other than the sound system, I'm gonna go through some of the really cool features this particular car has. Now we have the camera. The camera does a really good 360-degree coverage, and you can even point which side of the camera that you want to see. Usually I choose the camera on the back because this is a huge car and my parking lot is a little bit scary to park in, so which is why I choose that particular camera and park with some guidance. Second is the park in and park out. Now park in and park out is basically autonomous driving that is only allowed for the parking, so it can do its own parallel parking and perpendicular parking. Now this is a feature that we have seen in other cars coming out slowly, but Volvo had the feature for quite a bit of time, and which means they should have the added advantage on parking a lot more better as compared to its contender. We have Park Assist. Now this is a sensor that we can find in any other cars. Now these sensors are placed all across the car, so say for instance if you're moving into a parking lot or if you're even moving into a narrow lane, These sensors will guide you if you're too close to a pole or too close to another car, if you're too close to another vehicle when you're on a narrow lane. Such things can be detected with the help of the park assist sensor. And the sensor is very, very sensitive. So the moment it detects something, especially bikers like to, go through those little gaps around us, the sensor goes in a snap and it starts beeping all over the place, which is a good feature to have, honestly, but the beep can be a little bit annoying for some people. But for me, it was alright because I was glad. This is literally one of the first time that I'm driving a bigger car than a small segment SUV, so I really needed that sensor. We have the heads-up display. Now this particular heads-up display is really nice, and the heads-up display shows you the speed limit on the road that you're driving. It shows the speed of your car, and whenever you use your pilot assist or features like cruise control, it will show you the icon as well. And if there is a collision warning, the collision warning will appear in front of the heads-on display in an abrupt manner and make sure that your car is safe and everybody around you is safe as well. A really good feature to have for your whole experience. Now this particular car supports Android Auto and CarPlay, so that means you can hook up the cable onto the USB port, which is inside the glove box here, and use it right away. The gear knob on this particular car, so I'm driving the T8 inscription version, so this one comes in this glass crystal finish, which I think is really nice. It's a little bit extra, but extra in a way I like it. So whenever at night the light illuminates and it looks really, really good. The infotainment system has other features like controlling the wireless charger, because it has a wireless charging pad in this car, which is Qi certified. So that means you can charge any phone, and if you're using a wireless headphone, you can use that as well. So the voice assistant is a hit and miss, but it is there. So sometimes if you were to use the button on the steering and trigger it, you can actually say like, increase the temperature, put the aircon on max speeds, open the sunroof. All of that command you can actually do with the assistant. And as for the rest, there's pretty much nothing else to say. Now honestly, the Volvo XC60 is a really cool car all in all, because the car comes with safety features, and it doesn't start from the car, but it starts from the key, which is what I appreciate the most. Unlike any other key that I've ever seen so far, this particular button makes a lot of difference, because in today's world, despite the fact that we are living in 2021, unfortunately, it still isn't a safe place to live in. And this really needs to be changed. And this kind of feature is really nice to have, because prevention is better than anything else. And if you think that you are in a shady spot, and if you think there are certain things that needs to be done, this button can actually save some lives and save people at the very same time. It doesn't matter if they are a guy or a girl. But that said, kudos Volvo for this particular XC60. Now, I'm really not going to talk about the engine and the power of this particular car, and as I always say it's best left with the professionals. But all I can say is this car is too powerful, and since it's a bigger car, the center of gravity can be a little all over the place, which is why if you're planning to get a car as big as this XC60, or even this car for that matter, make sure to take the center of gravity a really important thing, because if you're taking cornering in a big car, it's going to be really challenging, and I would recommend you not to do any of that. So drive safe and make sure to be safe as well, because safety features that's baked right into a car can only do so much, and even beyond that, it's entirely up to you, and it's entirely in your hands to be safe at any cost, which is why I would tell this through and through that it doesn't matter if you have a smart car or not, you have to be really smart and you have to be safe on the road as well. But yeah, that's basically it. That's all I have to say. And huge thanks to Volvo Car Malaysia for loaning this car for us to play with. We really enjoyed it. We truly enjoyed it. And I had some good time with this particular car. I got to check out some of the features. I got to enjoy the music system in this particular car. And I can't wait to play with future Volvo cars. That's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you really like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, give us a thumbs down. Tell us why you didn't like it so that we could definitely improve in our next video. If you haven't watched any other video of us, you can actually head over to the link down in the description below and check out our other videos, including the first episode of AutoTech. That's basically it. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, this is Prithviraj signing off. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.